Good Thursday morning. Good Thursday. I'm sitting actually, if you see where I am, in the confessional right now. It's St. Mark's Church. We have Mass in 45 minutes. So I'm here, and we hear confessions or we're available for them from half hour before Mass, and usually no one shows. Not at this hour. It's pretty early. Nobody in church, just me in the pictures, and whatever. Anyway, I was just going to follow up on the Jonah story. I so identify with Jonah, so identify with him. He's a reluctant prophet. We had to know myself, in a sense, it's not what I wanted, the priesthood and religious life. It's not what I wanted. And I wasn't encouraged at all by my family. Just the opposite. My father saw the priesthood as a racket. He did. If you're going to go in it, let's make some money on the deal. I mean, you had to know. Those Tuscans are very anti-clerical in many ways. My father was very anti-clerical. Here I am. My niece asked me, Michelle asked me when she was a little girl 40 years ago. She asked me why I entered the religious life and the priesthood, and I said I felt called. And it's a simple truth. Just like Jonah's called. Peter, the saints. I'm not done anything. I don't. But it's similar. It's analogous to it. Not what I wanted. What I wanted was a date. I was thinking about it this morning. What I wanted was the best. It was a date. And the girls that I liked the most. They didn't like me so much, I guess. I don't know. I think they did in their own way. But I was so geared for the priesthood, I think they may have seen those were the pious 50s as untouchable. I don't know. All I know is 2 dates in a row. It was a surprise to me. But one of the best dates I ever went on. It was. You can actually look it up. It was a night of a boxing match in New York, but it was televised in New Haven in the movie house. Okay, and there was the Los Polite Theater. Okay? That was the beginning of televising or in the movie houses, boxing matches. And this was Floyd Patterson fighting Ingemar Johansson in Yankee Stadium. And what made it so interesting is that it was raining, and you can't have a boxing match in the rain outside, you see. So it was questioned whether they'd even have it or not. Well, Barb Agustinelli, my friend Barb, I was so nuts about Barb. God, this was just a few days before I left for the monastery, for the seminary. It was the best date I ever was on. It was pure romantic. She wanted to go, and she was 2 years younger than me. She was 16 when I was 18. I said, I'll take you. And so we had to walk across the green in New Haven. Did I already tell you this? I probably told you this story already. It was damp out. It was dark. It was night, okay? It was 7 o'clock at night or whatever, 8 o'clock. It was straight out of Love Story. It was so intimately beautiful. And I think we didn't even know. I might have even asked her if I could hold her hand. I got to ask Barb. I think it was, because she said that was one of her best dates, too. We went to the boxing match, and if you look it up, Ingemar Johansson knocks out Floyd Patterson in the first 45 seconds of the fight in the first round. Who cared? I was with Barb. And that's the truth. My mother said, you'll never make it in the priesthood. You like girls too much. Anyway, that's a great, for me, I in that sense, was reluctant. But I felt called. And even more so the religious life. I didn't make part of it, but I saw the passionist, and I felt called. And I'm grateful I was called. I've had an enormously adventuresome life. It was a wonderful life. And it has been a life full of love as well. But who would have guessed? When I drove out here, I told you that story in my little book, so I can come out here in 71 to go to grad school, thinking I'd be here 3 years and go back to New York. I've been here 52 years, between here and Louisville. Who would have guessed it? Who would have ever believed it? I couldn't have even forethought it, you see? And I didn't want it. I wanted to go back. But then I stayed. And then I wanted to stay. Because I think I found here, a way of life. This parish. I've been here 52 years, 5 generations. I'm still unofficially here. I don't know if the diocese even knows I'm here. They know I'm in St. Louis because I have faculties, okay? But do they actually know I'm at St. Mark's? They know I'm at SLU. Just isn't it interesting how our narratives get written We write it in part. But life and providence writes the bigger part. And I have to say the order for me. They were so good to me, and still are. In a sense, I put it this way, they sprung me loose. When Father Norbert Dorsey said to me, go find a job wherever you could find one. I got the Bellarmine, okay, and then here. I told you that stories before. But you had to understand it never happened before in the outfit. Tempo cambia, the times were changing. But also the goodness of the men in the outfit. They saw something in me that I didn't see. And they believed in me beyond what maybe I believed in myself. And in so doing, my life has been an enormous adventure. Look at Jonah. He's famous. He's famous in the sense he's had such a marvelous life that he is forever written down, okay? And he was a loser. And just an absolute loser. But God wrote straight with his crooked lines. Powerfully saved the Ninevites through the crookedness and the stupidity of a selfish man, Jonah. Maybe a coward. See? An indifferent coward. God still wrote straight with his crooked lines. See? And I'm thinking, there's nothing braggable about me at all. But I have had such a marvelous life, pastorally and professionally. I think it was Barb who said to me, just a few years ago, she said, we didn't think of you being, and she couldn't find the right word, being that smart that I'd be a college professor. Nobody did, including me. Hell, I had trouble getting out of high school. I thought I was going to fail it. It wasn't for the order. I don't know what would have happened to me. But it's been an adventure. How can I not see in the order the finger of God, who wrote straight with a very crooked line? The least of all the gang, I was the least qualified, the least talented, and yet look what I came up with. Who would have ever believed in my high school senior class that I would be the only college professor who came out of that? There were other guys who were so much smarter than me. I blew them out of the water. Why? Because God called me through the order. Without the order, I was what I seemed to have been, just Joe Average. Just Joe Average. Not stupid, but nothing brilliant at all. And still I'm not. But God wrote straight with a very crooked line. Jonah wasn't the best preacher, but he was effective. See, God writes straight with crooked lines. I love that line. I love that. Because he seemed to have made a ministry for me. Here at St. Mark's, 5 generations. Never officially here, but probably more present than any of the pastors. Not because I was better than them, it's just because I'm here. And 5 generations of people found something in me, perhaps that I didn't see in myself, namely some pastoral gifts that I knew that I had them. And they say I didn't know. I just came here looking for a roof over my head for the years I was in grad school instead. 5 generations later. Isn't that an amazing story? That's Jonah. That's Jonah and the whale. No whale, But a ministry that I never thought was mine, but it had turned out to be mine. Namely, a parochial ministry. This place, St. Mark's, St. Tim's, you see. Who would have ever thought it? Who would have ever thought I'd be a college professor? The narrative, co-written by the order in me and the Holy Spirit, who works through the order, that takes the Jonahs of this world, helps them to impact the world with the grace of the gospel. Not us. That wasn't Jonah. He's a loser. Not me. It's the grace that works through me, through Jonah, who writes straight. Christ and through the Spirit writes straight, often with crooked lines. They can create genius out of mediocrity. That's the truth.